Welcome to Waterloo Warbirds, and congratulations on selecting a de Havilland Vampire for your ride today. We are very confident you will enjoy your flight and leave with memories that will last a lifetime. But prior to flying in the Vampire today, we have a passenger video for you to watch that will cover Transport Canada mandatory briefing items, as well as information that will familiarize you with being a passenger in the Vampire and safety-related subjects. Enjoy the video, and please ask your passenger coordinator or any Waterloo Warbird crew member any questions you may have at any time. Our goal is to provide you with the best and safest flying experience possible. Donning the parachute. During your flight today, you will be wearing a backpack parachute. When donning the parachute, you will put it on by putting one arm through at a time. Next, connect the chest strap by clipping each end of the strap together. You will then reach down between your legs and pull the leg straps to your hips, where you will secure them on either leg. After all the straps are connected, ensure that they are pulled tight. Your passenger coordinator will ensure that your parachute has been properly put on. Once you have test fitted the parachute outside the aircraft and adjusted the straps to comfortably fit you, you will remove it and the parachute will be placed inside the aircraft. You will put it on when you have entered the cockpit of the aircraft. To enter, first climb up the ladder at the side of the aircraft. When you get to the top of the ladder, reach in with your left foot and step on the seat. Next, step off of the ladder and onto the seat with both feet. You can use the windscreen to assist with this, but do not grab the open canopy at any time for support. Next, step off the seat and onto the floor of the aircraft. You can now seat yourself comfortably in the passenger seat. While lowering yourself into position, please be careful that your knees do not hit any switches, buttons, or levers. The Vampire cockpit is quite snug to get seated in. Your passenger coordinator will then assist you in strapping on your parachute and the seatbelt harness. Place your left arm in the left shoulder strap of your parachute and then your right arm into the right shoulder strap. Clip the chest strap together. Next, take the left strap and connect it, followed by the right leg strap, and then tighten both. Finally, pull the chest strap tight. Should there be any need to adjust your shoulder straps, your passenger coordinator will assist you. To exit the aircraft, you will at first disengage the seatbelt harness and then the parachute. Stand up and grasp the windscreen with your hands. Step up onto the seat with both feet and then step over the side of the cockpit with your right foot onto a ladder rung. Lift your left foot over the cockpit side onto the ladder and then descend. Once comfortably seated, you will secure yourself into your seat by use of the 5-point harness. Bring the right and left lap belts to your belly area and the 2 shoulder straps over your shoulders to the front of your body. You will then take the left lap belt and secure it in the locking mechanism slot. Next, take the negative G strap between your legs and secure it in the locking mechanism slot. Moving to your left shoulder strap, you will secure it in the locking mechanism, and then finally the right shoulder strap can be secured in the remaining slot in the mechanism. To release the seatbelt, pull the locking handle up and to your right to simultaneously unlock all of the straps. An important area of concern is what to do with your hands, feet, and arms while in the cockpit. We ask that you do not touch any controls in the aircraft unless directed to do so by the pilot. This means that for most of your flight, keep your hands on your legs, but feel free to throw in a thumbs up or a wave. Remember, this is your flight, so have some fun with it. Make sure to allow for the full movement of the control column of the aircraft. Though it is rare for the stick to be fully deflected, it is important to give the control column as much room as possible to move. This is balanced with the need to keep your left knee clear of the throttle column as well, and make sure that you do not hold onto the throttle at any point during your flight. Also, keep your feet back from the rudder pedals and the footwells. While on the ground, keep your arm at your side and off the rail at the side of the cockpit, as the canopy is in danger of crushing your arm when it closes. There is minimal clearance between the top of your head and the canopy. When a pilot lowers the canopy, Lower your head down first to ensure that you don't bump it. During your flight, you will be wearing a helmet. The helmet and microphone will allow you to communicate with your pilot during your flight. To speak to your pilot, all you need to do is talk normally into the microphone. It is important for you to know that you will also hear air traffic control communication. Do not speak to your pilot when you hear this. It may be necessary for you to wait a few seconds for air traffic communication to conclude before talking. We encourage you to speak to your pilot and share any concerns or observations that you may have during your flight. It is important that you be at ease in the cockpit of the aircraft. The best way to become more comfortable is to take some time to familiarize yourself with the basic layout of the aircraft's cockpit and some of the functions of the associated controls. The center area of the cockpit has nothing on it that the passenger should ever need to operate or touch. On the center console, you will find the throttle, speed brakes, and trim wheel. These are no-touch items. The main panel of our Vampire was completely updated recently and contains a combination of classic instruments and newer glass panels. On the Garmin display, you will see indications of airspeed, altitude, heading, and orientation of the aircraft. At the left of the Garmin panel are some classic instruments. In the middle of the panel is the engine RPM gauge. To its right is the fuel quantity gauge. Below that is the fuel flow gauge. And below that is the flaps setting gauge. The RPM gauge lets us know the speed at which the engine is spinning. The fuel flow gauge lets us know the current rate that we are burning up fuel during our flight, while the fuel quantity readout lets us know the remaining fuel aboard the aircraft. The flaps gauge advises what settings the flaps are on, which is important for takeoff and landing. On the far right side of the cockpit, you will find the flaps and landing gear handle. These will move during the flight, and they are no-touch items. Behind these controls is the breakout crowbar. More will be covered on this item during the emergency exit instructions later in this video. There is also a small section for the storage of passenger air sickness bags and briefing cards. For passenger comfort, there is a basic air conditioning system once in the air. The vent is located above the gear and flap handles. While the pilot may have this already open, you will be able to adjust this for your comfort. In the event of an emergency, and the pilot has instructed you to leave the aircraft, it is imperative that you leave quickly, calmly, and with confidence. Remember, calm people are the ones that walk away from an emergency. If you detect smoke in a cockpit, let the pilot know immediately over the intercom. The pilot may open the DV windows or ask you to do so. One of the first steps in an emergency for which you may need to exit the aircraft is to unbuckle your seatbelt harness. To release the seatbelt, pull the locking handle up and to your right to simultaneously unlock all of the straps. It is imperative that you get out of the aircraft quickly, but remain calm and keep your focus on the task of safely exiting the aircraft. The pilot will at all times continue to direct you regarding what they want you to do next during an emergency. The pilot will say over the intercom, "Bail out, bail out, bail out." Once you are unstrapped, the pilot will then jettison the canopy. The canopy will then leave the aircraft, and you as the right seater will then exit the aircraft to the right with your arms crossed and your legs tucked in towards your body. Once clear of the aircraft, move your right hand to the D-ring ripcord and pull it all the way across your body. When you land, bend your legs to soften your landing. If you are on the ground after a forced landing, or something unexpected has happened during a landing, the pilot will say, "Get out, get out, get out." You first need to unbuckle and unstrap from your safety harness. Once unbuckled, the pilot will open the canopy. In the event the pilot has become incapacitated due to something like smoke in the cockpit or has become unconscious, you will need to know how to open the canopy. You will first need to unlock the canopy. To do this, look over your head to the large yellow handle with a small orange clip beside it. Start by pushing the orange clip back, which unlocks the yellow handle. With the clip held back, push the yellow handle towards the windscreen. Push the canopy up. It will click and hold once up in the fully opened position. If the previous option does not result in the canopy freeing itself from the aircraft, a last option does take some manual work, but has proven itself to be very effective. The crowbar is located on the right side of the cockpit. To access the crowbar, simply pull it out from the panel. Once you have unlocked the canopy, simply pry it open with the crowbar. Once the canopy is fully open and locked, using the windscreen to support yourself, stand up, step on the seat, and exit the aircraft, again being cautious of switches and levers while doing so. Immediately, put as much distance as possible between you and the aircraft. We recommend at least 30 meters. There is a first aid kit located in the nose of the aircraft. To access the first aid kit, you will have to unlock the latches on the nose of the aircraft. Once the 6 latches have been unlocked, walk to the front of the aircraft and push the small button. While pushing the small button, push up on the nose. Once the nose has been opened, put the safety pin in the support arm and then access the first aid kit located in the orange bag on the top shelf. The emergency locator transmitter is located in the left ammo bay of the aircraft behind the pilot. In the event of an emergency, the ELT will automatically go off or will be activated by the pilot. Air sickness during flight can happen to anyone at any time. There are air sickness bags located in a rack to the right front of your seat. Should you feel unwell, please tell your pilot at your earliest opportunity and retrieve a bag to be prepared for sickness if it happens. If you are about to be sick, hold the bag to your mouth and make as tight a seal as possible. Once done with the bag, be sure to seal it by folding the top over and bending the clasps shut. Keep it either in hand or in the map case, ensuring that it stays sealed. Let the pilot know how you are feeling. Located directly in front of you is the control stick. During your flight, the stick will move in all directions. In addition, the rudder pedals located at your feet will move back and forth during all ground movement and while in the air. It is very important that you keep your hands and feet away from the flight controls at all times, unless instructed otherwise by the pilot. In addition, do not touch any other flight controls in the cockpit unless specifically requested to do so by the pilot. During your flight, the pilot may offer for you to fly the plane. This will be discussed prior to your flight. However, it is important that when this occurs, proper communication of exchange of control takes place. To take control of the aircraft, you must have your right hand on the control column situated between your legs in front of you. This is done by the pilot saying, "You have control." You as a passenger will then say, "I have control." You are now flying the aircraft. There are numerous buttons on the control column. Do not touch any of these buttons during your time controlling the aircraft. The Vampire only needs very little inputs, so make sure that you are gentle on the controls. When the pilot takes control back, he will say, "I have control," and then you will say, "You have control." The pilot is now flying the aircraft. You should now release the control column. Ensure that you follow your pilot's instructions and stay clear of the controls once you have given control back to the pilot. We hope that you have enjoyed the Vampire passenger briefing video. Please remember to ask your passenger coordinator any questions you have. We are here to assist you every step of the way to ensure you have an amazing flight experience. Please stand by for a video from Strong Parachutes, reinforcing the chute training that you already have had in this video. After we finish that, let's ramp up and fly.